What's up? This is Steve, the lead singer and guitar player at Bushwood. We truly appreciate you taking the time out of your lives to listen to our music and give it a shot. And please continue to spread the love. We've built this band from scratch over a year ago, and we have a whole new lineup of musicians that we feel like the world has to hear. And I'm sitting here with one of those guys right now, our bass player, Adam Moskowitz.
What's up, Shwoodies? Adam here. I am the bass man. I also want to thank you guys. We all do.
This is Carl Dykes. I play saxophone and guitar. Thank you for listening.
My name's Alexander Coombs. I play trumpet for Bushwood. I spit into metal tubes and produce beautiful sounds on the other end. And I love making music, and I feed off of all the energy you guys give us. So continue to support us, and I love Bushwood. De Cuba y Jamaica, gracias para escuchar toda la música que tenemos.
My name is Diego Godoy. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I play keyboards. And thank you for listening. Gracias por escucharnos.
My name's Joey Beaton, and I play drums for Bushwood.
We just want to say we're ecstatic to put out this new music, and we could not thank you enough for just letting it flow into your ears and be part of your soundtrack to your life. It's really a gift to be able to play music, and we have all these songs, but we didn't want to wait to record a full album because that takes a really long time if you don't know. We haven't had any new recordings in a while, and we really just wanted to add a little bonus track to really just reintroduce ourselves. And wherever you are right now, whether you're in the car, on the boat, on the beach, in your living room, on a bike, running, wherever you are in the world right now, thank you for listening, and we could not appreciate you more. Just let you know, if you like what you hear, you can check out our music anywhere where music is sold: iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Bandcamp. We have a website, BushwoodBand.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube.
Bushwood on Facebook, iTunes, Twitter.
Basically, we went in the studio and we recorded these two songs because we wanted to get our new music to your ears as soon as possible, and we just want to let you know there's more where that came from. And Steve, why don't you tell the people a little bit about the recording process for these two songs, Unchained and Hey Girl?
We went into the studio and we just really wanted to go in there and nail out some fresh jams for everyone to hear. We're going to try to blast it out as much as possible, so whatever you guys can do to spread the love of Bushwood out there, please do so. And please come out to any shows in your local area.
And you can also email us, bushwoodband@gmail.com.
Give us a drop, tell us what you think of the music, or just to say what's up.
We're going to sign off now and leave you guys with a little podcast that we actually recorded a few months back, basically just talking about how we got started in music and you know, why we do this in the first place and why we love it so much and want to share it. Welcome to the Shwood Podcast. The band name is Bushwood, and it was chosen because it's the name of the country club in the movie Caddyshack. Today's interview is actually going to be with Stephen Ross Voronkov, which is Bushwood's singer, guitarist, and founding member, and Caddyshack is one of his favorite movies, hence the band name. But we'll get back to him in just a minute. We're all evolving as humans every second of every day, and therefore we also evolve as musicians at that same rate. And even if you aren't a musician or don't play an instrument, you can still very much relate to these feelings of having a hobby of choice and hopefully be inspired to create something of your own in some way. Albert Einstein said, "Creativity is contagious. Pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on." All right, first guest of the ShwoodCast.
Yes.
First question is, what was your very first musical memory?
I would have to say have my mom sing like a lot. When I was growing up as a kid, she'd be singing all the time, playing guitar. But I also remember very distinctively seeing the movie La Bamba. I remember it's about the singer Richie Valens. He played rock and roll, and he was the first like Mexican rock and roll star. And I remember seeing that, and I remember him playing guitar, and I was like, I want to do that. And I like as little as 3 years old or something like that. I remember that.
Do you remember the very first song you learned on guitar?
Yeah. The Hanukkah song
Hanukkah song?
by Adam Sandler.
Sandler?
Yeah, The Sandman.
Wow. You've been in a few bands before Bushwood, like Break 27, Aurora. What are some things you feel like you've learned through growing up playing music in various bands?
That you got to keep playing no matter what if you really love it, no matter who it's with.
How many songs do you think you've written in your life?
Probably say somewhere in the ballpark of like 500. And I'm not talking about just like ones that we play now. Like, you know, there's so many songs that I half wrote or like just didn't do anything with that are just sitting on a notepad somewhere. And you never know when they can come back. One day you could bring a piece of paper out and be like, you know what, maybe this sounds good with it.
Yeah.
We can work with that.
And what's interesting about that is sometimes the good happens to rise to the top naturally and make you want to finish it.
Right. Or sometimes you'll be sitting around and then you go, oh, I have an idea for that song I wrote like 6 months ago.
Tell me about that moment right there. How does that happen?
I don't know. Sometimes the inspiration hits you when you least expect it to. And then I'll finish it. I'll think of a line that goes along with it, and I'll just hammer away until I get it.
I'm pretty intrigued by those moments of creativity where, like you said, it's the song or section or lyric is just going through your head for months, and then all of a sudden, boom, the perfect idea comes to your mind.
Right.
There's something about like pursuing, finishing a song and letting it evolve with time that it's moving creativity. Like,
excuse me, say it again what you just said.
I've totally forgot.
I got it. I was talking about the moment of inspiration when that idea hits you and you say, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do, or that chord change.
What's cool about music and creating anything for that matter is there's no model you have to follow, so you can just go anywhere with it, with any idea, and you say, oh, this groove sounds pretty good, let me mess with that.
Right, you just got to give it some love and some time.
Put it back in the oven.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it marinate for a little while.
That idea about it being like a puzzle, that's pretty interesting. Being in a band is kind of like being in a puzzle. Talk a little bit about what it's like.
Well, first of all, the band didn't become real until you joined. And then when you came aboard, it took off and it hasn't landed yet. Because let me give you a refresher where I was in my life at the time. When we first started Bushwood, I had just gotten a job at Eastwood Golf Course with John Cross, our old drummer, and I would pick golf balls in the cart out in the driving range. Every morning, I would put the flags up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be in the cart barn just waiting for golfers to get there, and I'd be writing songs.
You had your guitar at work?
No.
Just in your head.
I would just have like a notepad, and I'd be sitting there at like 7 o'clock in the morning just waiting for people to get there and like bored out of my mind, and then I would start just thinking of lyrics.
Most people are really scared to get up in front of a crowd. It's pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
What made you feel confident to take these songs that you wrote in the golf course or at home in your living room? What gave you confidence to want to bring those and play those for a group of people?
I think because I thought they were good enough that I wanted the world to hear them. And I thought the jams were cool enough that people would be like, you know, these guys are onto something different. Also, I had been playing shows since I was 15 at the time, and I was 23 when I moved to Orlando by UCF, which is where we started Bushwood. So I went on a little 2 or 3 year gap where I had no band, and I was really itching to play, just really wanting to play shows again, and started writing some jams with John and Chris Atherback. We said, hey, we should play a show, you know, and that's how it happened.
I think that's one of my favorite moments in life I remember in my first band when we first said we should play a show, like that, just that feeling of like we should kind of perform this in public, not just in a garage,
right,
like, or by yourself. That's a pretty big moment.
It takes brass balls.
Yeah.
You know, just to be a performer and be on a stage takes a lot of guts. Public speaking is the number one fear over death.
That's what I'm getting at.
It's true.
How do you feel confident to do what you do on like pretty, regular basis? Do you still get nervous?
I get nervous for the bigger ones. Like when we played at America's Backyard, I was so nervous to go on that stage, but then once you play the first chord, it goes away.
Before that even, I remember the crowd was going crazy when you just walked on to get your water.
Yeah.
They wanted you to like take your shirt off and everything.
And it's funny you said that because I always used to joke about how all I wanted was that. Like when Rafael Moscoso and I started our first band, we were 15, Break 27, when me and Rafael would talk about wanting to be famous. We would talk about playing shows. We're like, can you imagine opening up for a Blink-182 or Lit or like whatever? and we'd be like, can you imagine like stepping your toe out? And people would be like, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about shows, I'm wondering, everybody has a favorite show. What was the worst show ever? I want the people to hear like a horror story.
Wow. Okay. I think
I think this is the worst one. It happens to be in Hollywood I'm sorry, but Whiskey Tango was the worst show in my opinion. And we've played a lot of shows, and that's probably the worst because I remember I broke a string in the middle of our set. I put a new string on, and that string broke, and I think I broke 3 strings that night. I've never broke 3 strings in my life.
It was the trifecta.
And then on top of that, John's car gets towed before the show. Was it before the show, right?
Yeah, he was unloading his gear, and he literally went inside, and then 2 minutes later going outside, and his truck was gone. And we were supposed to start a show in an hour.
God.
So Steve and John had to go leave and pick up the truck. I was there left setting up the whole stage myself. And then Steve breaks a million strings later on.
So not only did we break strings, get the car towed, and we lost money from the gig to pay for the tow.
In my opinion, you have a really good ear. Like you can hear the key of a song almost immediately for any song. I'm wondering for you if that was automatic or did you develop that when you started playing music? How did that come about?
It's a good question. I don't know. I've been playing for a really long time. I started playing when I was 13 and I'm 29 now. So was it 16 years of playing guitar nonstop every day? And somewhere down the road, maybe when I was 22, I was able to just start listening and hear the key and be able to follow along with it. But that started off when I started playing like Blink-182 songs and stuff in my room. And I would just find out the key. And I kind of always had an ear for it. I don't know why. I think it's just in the blood because my mom's a singer and guitar player. My mom's grandmom was a piano player and songwriter. So I think it's just in the blood, and I guess I was fortunate enough to have it carry on with me.
And I want to thank Eric Schechter because he inspired me to pick up my first bass. And the first song I learned, it's pretty embarrassing, but it was a Good Charlotte song called The Little Things.
The little things, the little things.
So you know it. So I remember we went to like whatever the music store was and taught me this walking bass line, and I was just like, yeah, I could do this. But then at the same time, I also thought like I have so much to learn. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on this piece of wood with strings on it, but I'll try to figure it out. And here I am, however many years later, like still figuring it out.
It's because you stuck with it.
Exactly. I feel like if you stick with anything in life and make it your goal to always improve over your previous self, you're gonna always excel because that's all you can ever compete with is your previous self.
Right. And what would you say? It's 10,000 hours doing something?
Yeah. That's Malcolm Gladwell theory where he says you can be an expert at anything if you put 10,000 hours into it. And it's like they say the same thing about the Beatles, how they played hours and hours of bar gigs. And we did that as well. You know, we play a lot of bar gigs, 4 hours, and it's pretty grueling during that last third set when you're
absolutely.
It's about 1:30 in the morning and you're tired. But even then, in that moment, you're still appreciating music because that's what we wanted to do as kids. We just wanted to jam.
Right.
And now we get to do that on a pretty regular basis.
Can I tell you the best feeling that I've ever had as a musician?
Yeah.
I remember I used to play at Kahuna's in Deerfield Beach all the time, and I'd be exhausted. You know, I'm packing up my stuff in my car, and someone will come up to me and grab my shoulder and say, "Hey man, you sounded awesome tonight. Keep doing what you're doing." That is what makes you keep doing it. The little things make you like, I'm on the right path. I have to keep doing it.
Yeah, those things are nice. And I kind of try to pass that forward to when I like see other musicians.
Me too.
Try to give them a little tip or pass it forward because I know personally, and you've experienced that, when you're feeling down, it's just like that boost to keep going.
And most people look at musicians and like, oh, they're probably just like, you know, egotistical people who like don't give a shit. But they don't realize how much we appreciate people giving us compliments and feedback. Like we love our fans more than anything. So it's like to hear anything from people is just nice, you know?
Right.
And we're grateful for everything.
Bushwood's style of music is pretty much a mix of reggae and funk. What exactly inspired you to want to create a mix of those two styles?
I think that goes back to my high school days because I would always listen to Bob Marley, and Bob Marley was my favorite singer ever. And then I was also listening to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers at the same time. And I said, wouldn't it be awesome if you could combine the two? And that's kind of where that started. And you just mix it all together and you kind of get Bushwood from that.
So talk a little bit more about the positive vibe, because we really do try to put that out there with both our music and our performance. So let the people know a little bit.
We're just trying to create a musical lifestyle kind of very similar, I would say, to like Jimmy Buffett and Zach Brown and Jack Johnson, where it's like when you think of them, you associate it with the beach. And that's a huge category. And it's something that people need to get them by, because people are always stressed out about their jobs or about whatever, and we want to create some kind of an escape for them to listen to in their car when they're going home or when they're working out, you know, when they're making love, anything. Anything, you know.
You gotta have all kind of music. I don't play music in general to really hit any specific goal, I think, but what's really just enjoyable is the journey, because I know it's all kind of fleeting in a way, but the journey of it all and just playing music together with you and the other 4 guys, it's been awesome, and
absolutely, man,
that's what it's all about, in my opinion.
It's never ending. It won't stop. I like how when you were talking about shows that come and go and that you're looking forward to it so much and it just passes like that, but you got to realize what Carl Dykes says, you got to build the bricks. It's just a brick. It's just another brick in the wall.
Was that Carl Dykes or Pink Floyd?
I guess it's Carl Floyd.
Yeah.
Pink Dykes.
So, yeah, I think what Carl says about building the bricks is right on, because every show, you know, we just have that much more experience behind us. I think experience and being up on stage in different situations where sometimes things go wrong, sometimes your gear is not working, malfunctioning, whatever happens.
That's the worst feeling.
Sometimes there's feedback, sometimes it's the most amazing gig ever and the sound is perfect and
nothing like that.
And there's no better feeling in the world because you're just connected with the music and the crowd. So it can go both ways, and that's really the balance. All right, man, before we wrap it up, I just want to get back to the guitar for a second.
I just thought guitar was so cool. I always looked up to guitar players. I'm like, you know, and I wanted to be good. I just wanted to be good at it, and I wanted to play on a stage. Like, even when I was little, my parents would have a little fireplace in New Jersey, and my sister and I would get on the stage, and we would do our own little show, you know, like dress up and dance and sing. And we had a real microphone that we didn't plug in. Like, it was I guess my mom's old microphone, and I would take it and I would sit on the fireplace and I'd sing a song. Then my sister Emmy would come and sing Beauty and the Beast or whatever the hell it was. And so it started early, you know. And when you're playing guitar, you're creating emotion with your body, not using words. So it's like, it's really crazy to make people feel a certain way from what you're playing. You know, you're creating sounds with your hands, and it's coming from your soul. It's coming from your heart. You're speaking without talking. It's really insane.
Yeah, I think about it often, and there's a feeling when you're kind of deep in a jam that you're playing, your fingers are moving and they're making noises, but you're not actively thinking about it. It's kind of just happening.
Right.
It's kind of
natural.
And in that way, I think is what you're talking about, how it kind of just comes through you, and you're using the instrument to speak this musical language, and that's connecting, you know? It's vibrations.
The vibrations, exactly. And then, like, if someone connects with the song and you see them rocking out to what you're creating, it's like, that's the best feeling you could ever have as a musician.
Right now we're a totally different band. We've evolved, and the fact that we now have a trumpet player, so we got that brass in the mix, versus but previously we had 2 saxophone players, and I think that really fills out the sound a lot. It was almost like the missing element.
Yeah, what I love most about the band right now is the positivity flowing, and everyone is down to be there. Everyone wants to play music. Everyone is all about the music, and no matter what, we all want to play, you know? And just the overall camaraderie of the band is just incredible, and it makes me feel really optimistic about the future.
I definitely agree, and it's an interesting perspective where we're at right now, and who knows what will happen in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years, but right now the journey is pretty awesome. So thank you, man, for playing music with me, and
it's my pleasure. You're the man.
And Bushwood out. Peace and love. Spread the love out there. Hashtag funky reggae. Bushwood.